Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, StrangeNet here. So today I want to talk about industry and specifically putting to bed some of the comments, issues and misconceptions that I see on a daily basis, all in all. Some of them are, I started in a different time, you can't make money in industry, you can only do it if you do it this way, and pretty much, in my opinion and the way that I tackle it isn't generally the case, and I'll lay some of them out in this video for you. Now, this doesn't mean that this is the only way, and it doesn't mean it's the best way. This is the way that I've found works for me, and I'm sharing it with you guys as a template, a basis of something to work off and to give you an idea of, what is possible and, the numbers and things that we're talking about. I think the biggest single hurdle is people thinking that you can't make good ISK in industry, or that it's too restrictive, or that the barrier is too high and that it can't be done, or it's just not worth it. And all in all, I don't find this is ever the case. Industry is a slow burn, and if you want ISK fast and if you're just starting the game, I would say leave industry well alone. Play the game, do active ISK generation activities like ratting, abyssal sites, mining, whatever it is that floats your boat. Get a basis of ISK to start with. Industry isn't something you want to be going into straight off. It's a slow burn. Nothing happens particularly quickly. It can take weeks to sell anything. It's not something you want to be focusing on straight off the bat. And one of the comments I got the other day was, I make 200 million ISK an hour doing incursion sites. Industry doesn't seem worth it. I'm only making 60 million ISK a day. And again, often is the case that industry is a poor second to active ISK generation. You can always make more ISK doing something more active, and it's probably exactly how it should be. If you are ratting, mining, incursioning, whatever it is, you should probably always make more ISK than doing industry as a general rule, because, well, you're active, you're doing something, and as I said, industry is something that happens in the background. So let's take that 60 million ISK from or as a baseline. Now, this is in regards to manufacturing, and if we make 60 million ISK a day, then obviously, yeah, that does pale in comparison to the 200 million ISK an hour that you could be making doing incursions. But the point is, making 60 million ISK in industry doesn't take an hour. In fact, it could take minutes. And a great example, or a example of how quickly things can be done when they are in place, is I have the Tech 2 light missile launcher here, and we can see just how long this takes to install. So barely any time whatsoever once everything is in place, and I can do this several times a day or whenever I like. The point is, it doesn't take a great deal of time, and that is it. Once everything is in place, it's just a matter of a couple of clicks and you're done. So how much has that just made me? Well, not a huge amount. We're looking at 165,000 ISK per unit, and there are 11 characters running, doing 10 jobs each, so 18 million ISK. So I've just done 18 million ISK. Yes, it's going to take 2 hours before these jobs are finished, but the point is, I can do that several times a day if I wanted. So if I do that 3 times a day, I'm almost at the 60 million ISK there. So if I do it once in the morning, once in the afternoon, once in the evening, that's 60 million, give or take. Or I can do it more depending. But again, you get the general idea. So, well, what happens if, I don't want to be logging in 4 or 5 times a day? Well, fine, once in the morning, once in the evening. So if we have a look at the 220 auto cannons, these are selling at roughly 400, or making a profit 400,000 ISK per unit. Again, times the 11 slots times 10 equals 44 million ISK. So you can do that as soon as you get up. It takes 6 hours, 5 hours. I think it's about 5.5 hours for these to complete. So you do it once in the morning, once before you go to bed. It takes you a good 30-40 seconds to do, and you've just made yourself 88 million ISK. So if you do that every day for a year, you've got 32 billion ISK. So again, I often get the, well, you can't make ISK, you can't get to where you are, yada, yada, yada. Again, 32 billion ISK for logging in and spending a couple of minutes a day in the evening and at night. Yes, you have to log in every single day to do it, but the point is, well, you're spending an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours doing incursions every day. And again, this can be running in the background and still making a good amount of ISK. And when you're new to the game, so for instance, your incursions, if you're doing that every single day, which is possible, you're going to make an absolute ton of ISK. And again, as you should, that's just from 1 hour, but there's a lot of hassle, there's a lot of risk, and all the rest of the good stuff that comes with that. And this is why I like Industry, because it just runs in the background. And again, once things are set up, you've got your characters, you've got training done, you've got one account, you can have 3 characters on. So for instance, this is Tech 2, so one character does the manufacturing, one's doing the copying, and one's doing the invention. And it doesn't take you a great deal of time to get your 3 characters up to that stage. And then once they are up to that stage, you can just start, upping their skills and doing the rest of it. So you don't have to wait for months and months or this, that, and the other. It can be done relatively straightforward. And you can see there, as I say, that the numbers just over time stack up a hell of a lot. And you've also got Take 1 items you can do this with. Now, these are a bit fewer and far between, but they still exist. And again, the Capital Core here is a great example. It's going to cost us, what, 32 million plus installation costs, so 35 mil. They are currently selling for 40 to 46. It's going to be 3 million to sell, so you're making about 8 million ISK profit per 7 hours, so we can get 3 of them in a day, so you're making 24 million ISK a day. And again, you can set this up to run for an entire month if you really wanted to. Let's see what's the max. So 95 for 30 days, and we're making 8 million ISK. 95 times 8 million ISK over the course of a month is 760 million ISK. Times that by 12, and you're looking at 9 billion ISK for one single slot doing Tech 1 manufacturing. Now, granted, these have gone up slightly in cost of late, and the market doesn't allow for a huge amount of these to be sold, unlike some of the Tech 2 items we were looking at. But the point is, again, you probably wouldn't want it doing it for a month, but that's by the by. The point is that they are still there, and they're just infuriates me that people say you can't do it, or I started at a different time and that it's no longer possible. It's entirely possible if you're willing to put the work and the effort in. And that's the thing here. It does take time. It does take a little bit of effort. It does take a little bit of setting up. And it does take a little bit of research, just trying to work out what it is that you're going to build and what is going to sell and how much that the market can sustain. But the point being, it's very, very doable, and with a little bit of effort on your part, anybody can do it. And yeah, the people saying that you can't do it anymore is complete hogswash, and it's one of the things that really, really bugs me about Industry. Yes, I have a good basis of this to be able to work from, but that doesn't make what I'm doing more profitable. It just gives me potentially more options and more areas to invest in. And Industry's always been competitive. The average of 250,000 ISK is, I was looking at some spreadsheets earlier, and I was looking at roughly that amount of ISK making per hour 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So not a great deal has changed. The amount of ISK that you are looking at to be making per hour is pretty much what the same it has been for the last decade. And there are always exceptions. There are places and areas that you can obviously make a substantial amount more ISK than 250,000 ISK an hour or per unit or whatever it is that you're looking at. So yeah, things aren't any harder necessarily than they were or a decade ago. So with that, I think we'll wrap up. We have got a giveaway. I'm giving away 2 of the Varga skins for this video. I am terrible for the giveaway, so I do apologize. So we'll give 2 away for this. Comment, make sure you've got your in-game username that you would like the contract to be made to, assuming you win. And yeah, what kind of content, anything that you would like me to cover specifically, generally related to industry. Anything that you would like me to cover, put it in your comment and I'll see what I can do. With that, thanks for your time, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon.